You know that feeling? You're finally settling in at the movies, lights go down, previews wrap up, and then bam!
Oh, yeah.
Someone's coughing nonstop or kicking your seat, or you see that bright phone screen pop on.
Ugh, the phone screen. Yeah, we've all been there. Those little things that just totally pull you out of the moment.
Exactly. And it's kind of a shared thing, isn't it? Figuring out the unwritten rules in places like cinemas.
Definitely. Movie theaters are prime territory for seeing those expectations either work out smoothly or, well, sometimes clash a bit.
Right. And that's actually what we're getting into today. We're going to unpack some common English phrases that, come up around movie theater etiquette, stuff we do, stuff we maybe shouldn't do, and why. We're using some pretty neat English learning materials for this.
Yeah, that's right. We've got this dialogue. It's set right in the movie theater, obviously.
Okay.
And some vocabulary breakdowns, example sentences,
Hmm.
and even look at how going to the movies is different in different places
Okay.
culturally.
Cool. So the mission today basically is to give you the English you need for those real life movie situations.
And hopefully share some interesting bits along the way.
Exactly. Okay, so let's kick off with a couple of keywords first. How about inconsiderate?
Okay, inconsiderate.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's basically describing someone who isn't really thinking about other people's feelings,
Right.
how their actions affect others.
Right.
The source material had that example on the subway. If someone doesn't give their seat to an older person,
Ah, yeah, I remember that.
that's a really clear example of being inconsiderate.
And you can totally see how that fits in a movie theater, like someone loudly unwrapping candy during a really quiet scene.
Or taking a phone call, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely inconsiderate.
Okay, good. Now, the second phrase to flag early on is keep it down.
Keep it down.
Hmm.
Super common.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way to ask someone to be quieter, don't make so much noise.
Mm-hmm.
The examples they gave were pretty everyday ones, like neighbors being noisy late at night.
Right, or someone trying to study.
Exactly. Or, parents often tell their kids to keep it down. It can be a polite request or maybe a bit firmer.
Yeah, you can almost hear that tone shift, can't you? Okay, so with those two ideas being inconsiderate and being asked to keep it down, let's listen to our first bit of dialogue.
Okay.
This one's at a pretty natural speed, maybe even a bit fast. So just try and get the general vibe, the situation. Don't stress about catching every word yet.
Yeah, just listen for, where are they? And what's the problem? What's causing the tension?
All right, so we got the picture right. Movie theater, some annoyed sounds, definitely a phone ringing.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
Now let's zoom in on some specific phrases they used. One that came up was, not such a big deal.
Ah, not such a big deal. Yeah, that's a useful one. You'd use it to downplay something, basically. To say it's not a major issue. Not that important.
Okay.
The examples in the material were good. Like if someone says they can't get you those files till tomorrow,
Right.
they might say, that's okay. It's not such a big deal. Or being a little late for a meeting.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not such a big deal. It kind of reassures people, smooth things over.
Exactly.
Okay, another language point now. This one's a phrasal verb. Switch it off.
Right. Switch it off. Just means turn it off. Simple enough.
But it's a phrasal verb, right? So there's a little grammar thing there.
Yeah, well, the source pointed out that with phrasal verbs like this, the object like your phone can sometimes go at the end. Switch off your phone.
Okay.
Or sometimes in the middle. Switch your phone off. Both work.
Right.
But when the object is a pronoun, like it, you pretty much always put it in the middle. Switch it off.
Ah, I see. So you wouldn't really say switch off it?
Not usually, no. Switch it off sounds much more natural for phones, TVs, lights, that kind of thing.
Got it. Phrasal verbs, always keeping us on our toes. Okay, last one for this section. Can't hear a thing.
Can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty emphatic. It means you really can't hear anything at all because it's just too loud around you.
So it's stronger than just, it's noisy.
Oh, yeah, much stronger. The examples were like not understanding what's going on because of noise, or music being so loud you can't have a conversation.
Okay.
It means like zero hearing ability for anything else.
Total blockage. Okay. Right, now that we've sort of unpacked those phrases, let's listen to that same dialogue again. But this time, we'll play it slower. Should make it easier to pick out those specific words in context.
Yeah, listen for how they use inconsiderate, how someone asks another to keep it down,
Yeah.
maybe how they react with not such a big deal, or use switch it off and can't hear a thing.
Okay, hopefully that slower version helped you kind of catch those phrases actually being used in the conversation.
Should have been clear.
Yeah. Now let's dig into one phrase that's really useful, but sometimes a bit nuanced. Do you mind?
Do you mind? Yes. It's interesting. Generally, it's a polite way to ask someone to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the examples. Do you mind holding my coat? Or, do you mind paying tonight? Or, relevant here, do you mind turning off your phone?
Right, it sounds quite gentle usually. That typical indirect English politeness.
Exactly. However, and this is the key thing the material highlights, your tone of voice changes everything.
Ah, yes. The tone.
Crucial. Totally crucial. You could say, would you mind keeping it down? In a really soft, maybe even slightly apologetic way.
Okay.
Or you could say the exact same words, would you mind keeping it down? But with a really sharp, annoyed tone, like we heard in the dialogue.
Yeah, definitely heard that irritated version.
The words are the same, but the feeling, the message, completely different. It really shows how important, intonation and nonverbal stuff are in spoken English.
It's like the tone gives the words their real meaning. Okay, so now that we've really picked apart the language,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to listen to that original dialogue one last time, back at normal speed.
All right.
And hopefully now, after going through the vocabulary and the tricky bits, like, do you mind? It should all make a lot more sense.
Yeah, you should be able to follow the whole thing much better now and kind of appreciate how those phrases just fit naturally into that slightly tense movie theater chat.
Okay, so we've looked quite a bit at the language in the theater, but the source material also brought up something really interesting. How the whole experience and what's considered okay behavior can be really different depending on where you are in the world. The cultural aspect.
Yes, that was fascinating. It really makes you realize that our own ideas about how people should act in public aren't, universal.
Totally. So let's look at Canada first. What's the vibe there, according to the source?
Okay, Canada. Apparently, it's pretty normal, pretty accepted, to eat popcorn, candy, maybe even chips during the movie. Standard snacks.
Right. Sounds familiar.
But, and this seems key, if your phone rings, that's seen as a big no-no, a big problem, as they put it.
Ah, okay. So snacks are fine, loud interruptions are not.
Seems to be the case.
Yeah.
Suggests maybe a value placed on not disrupting that shared quiet space too much.
Makes sense. Now, what about Ecuador? And South America more generally. This part really caught my attention.
Oh yeah, Ecuador. So there, it's often totally fine for people to bring their own food from outside into the cinema.
Okay, like maybe sneaking in some candy?
Well, maybe. But the source mentioned to people bringing in things like, get this, cooked chicken.
Whoa, really? Chicken?
Yeah. Described as really smelly food. So not just a bag of sweets. It suggests maybe a more relaxed view on shared spaces, perhaps different norms around food and eating out.
Wow. I'm trying to picture that. Depending on what they brought, it could make you really hungry. Or maybe really distracted if it's pungent.
Exactly. It just shows how much those food norms can vary. Now, contrast that with Switzerland. Their approach sounds quite different.
Different is one word for it. Yeah, in Switzerland, the norm is apparently you eat before the movie.
Right.
No snacks allowed inside the theater itself. No popcorn, no soda, nothing.
Can you imagine, for someone like me who feels popcorn is practically essential to the movie experience?
I know, it sounds so orderly. Maybe it reflects a different cultural view. Like the cinema is more for just focused viewing, less about the casual snacking.
Could be.
Yeah.
It really highlights how ingrained our own movie habits are.
Yeah.
And how much they're just culturally learned.
It's amazing, isn't it? These little differences. And it makes you think about what actually makes going to the movie special beyond just the etiquette issues.
Yeah, and the source material actually touched on that quite nicely.
It did. It talked about the whole atmosphere, right?
That specific smell of popcorn when you walk in.
Yes.
The usually soft carpets, the big colorful posters for upcoming movies building that excitement.
And then the lights going down, that shared moment of quiet anticipation creates a real sense of occasion.
Definitely. You feel like you're leaving the everyday world behind for a bit.
And then, of course, there's just the sheer scale of it, the big screen.
Oh, absolutely. Seeing a film blown up that large with crystal clear detail and that powerful sound system.
Yeah, the sound.
It's just a totally different experience from watching at home. You catch every little detail, every expression, and the sound just wraps around you. Makes you feel like you're in the movie sometimes.
And fundamentally, it's about the story, isn't it? Or that's why we go.
That's the core of it. Movies can make us laugh, cry, think. They connect us emotionally. They show us different perspectives, different cultures, or sometimes just offer a great escape. And you often see bits of yourself in the characters,
Definitely. And doing it with other people adds another layer too, right? Going with friends or family.
Oh, for sure. Sharing the gasps, the laughs, the tension,
Yeah.
and then having something you all experience together to talk about afterwards. It really enhances it.
Plus, just being in that dark room, big sound, focused on the screen, is a genuine break from emails and notifications and everything else.
A proper escape. You can actually switch off for a couple of hours, emerge feeling a bit recharged maybe.
And we can't not mention the snacks again, especially popcorn.
Absolutely essential part of the ritual for so many people. That warm, buttery smell and taste,
Yeah.
whether you like it salty or sweet.
It's just part of the movie magic for a lot of us.
And the source also reminded us about a huge variety of films out there. Action, romance, animation, documentaries.
Horror, comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah, something for pretty much everyone.
Which leads to thinking about movies as, well, an art form.
Yeah, definitely. All the work that goes into it, directors, actors, writers, cinematographers, composers.
It's this huge collaboration,
Mhm.
and everything is chosen so carefully, right?
Yeah.
The colors, the music, the lighting, it all works together.
And even though things change, we've gone from black and white to HD, now we have streaming.
Right.
There's still something about being in that dark room with strangers all watching the same giant screen.
Yeah, that communal experience. It's hard to replicate that anywhere else. It's still pretty special.
So yeah, the source kind of wrapped it up nicely, didn't it? Why we love movies.
Mm-hmm. They reflect life, connect us, bring joy, spark ideas. It's about appreciating the whole package, really. The film and the experience of seeing it.
So we've covered the language, the cultural angles, and the source material also has that handy audio review bit.
Ah, yes, the
Oh.
EnglishPod audio review.
That's
It's a
out.
great little recap.
Yeah.
It goes back over the key words and phrases with definitions and more examples.
Just to really make sure they stick.
Exactly. It hits things like inconsiderate, not such a big deal, can't hear a thing, keep it down, switch off. And that polite but tricky, do you mind?
And related words too, right? Like noisy, rude.
Yeah, disturb, interrupt, whisper,
Huh.
all useful vocabulary for that context.
It's like a final check-in on the main points.
Precisely.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive to a close then. We've explored some really useful English for movie situations.
Hmm?
We've seen how movie habits, like snacking, can be surprisingly different across cultures. And we've kind of celebrated what makes going to the cinema feel, well, magical.
Yeah, hopefully you've picked up some practical language tools, but also maybe gained a bit more appreciation for this whole shared activity.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about your own movie experiences. What's your most memorable one? Good or bad?
Ooh, good question. Maybe a time someone was super inconsiderate, or a film that just blew you away on the big screen.
Yeah. And also thinking ahead, with technology always changing, how might that communal cinema experience evolve? Can it keep that special feeling?
And how do those cultural norms we talked about actually shape how we think people should behave in shared spaces like theaters?
Lots to chew on. Maybe next time you're settling in with your popcorn.